Hello everybody and welcome to Movement and Yoga Online. We are on week 15 if I've counted correctly, and throughout the weeks we've focused on different things. Last week was more on the wave of the breath and in the body, and I thought we'd continue some sort of sense with that and thinking about the fluidity within the body and opening up the body, mainly the front of the body. So if we've been sitting a lot in the house or in the car, sometimes the front of the body can collapse a bit. So by energizing the front part of the body, I hope that we could feel a lot more fluid and help our digestive system. So if you're doing this practice before lunch, it's going to fuel up your digestive system, ready to eat well. And if you've just eaten, feel free to do this practice. Perhaps if you're feeling a little bit too full, later the thing that's called the lion's breath might be a little too heavy on a very full stomach. So maybe wait for an hour or so. So I'd just like to read this one little section about fluidity within the body, and it's from John Stirk's book, The Original Body. Moving from fluid. The way we move influences the degree to which fluid release and flow takes place. Wave-like spiral movements articulate bones and joints and free the mechanical body from holding patterns. These movements, coupled with respiratory rhythms, stimulate a fluid release, which in turn enhances the quality of mechanical movements. And the mechanical and organic aspects of our original nature inform each other. If fluid release is stimulated by practice, we can safely assume that the breath stimulating the spine, spinal motion stimulating the breath, the alternating engagement and release of facial planes and muscle activity, a movement of the cord within the spinal canal, and a calming of mental activity combined to produce a fluid effusion and production. So the activity of the body essentially is involuntary component stimulates fluid release. So basically, by moving in spirals and using our breath, helps fluid release much easier and smooths everywhere in the body. So this will help joints become more free, breath to become free, and anywhere in the body that feels a bit blocked to become free. This then later in the body has an impact on your immune system. So on that wonderful note of talking about being fluid, let's try it out, see how it feels for us today. So if we come up to standing to start with, hopefully I've made that so you can see. So gently making your way up standing, have a little wiggle around. Maybe there's somewhere that feels a little bit uncomfortable for you. Perhaps you want to give that a little wiggle. Super. So let's begin by shaking the hands out. And just noticing how you feel this morning or afternoon. Shaking all the finger bones like cooked spaghetti into the wrists. You don't have to flail them around if that's not what you want to do today. I feel a little more softer shaking is necessary. And then into the lower arms. Having an easy breath into the elbows, these lovely joints that do a lot of work for us. Into the upper arms, really shaking them out. Great. And then into the shoulders. Really allowing it to flow through the body. Nothing much to do. Just releasing the arms. Great. And then imagining that there's something quite sticky on the arms and the hands. So as you breathe out, it's like you're flicking something sticky of your arms down to the ground. I'm softening my knees, bending my knees as I do so, allowing this to release. And leave that movement. Lovely. My hands feel really clean and a lot lighter. And we'll do the same with the feet. So if you need something to hold on to, you can lean on something, or you can just shift your weight into one leg. And we're going to keep this leg nice and long so we don't drop into the pelvis. And starting with the foot. Seeing if you can release all of the bones of the foot. Having a natural breath into the ankle, the lower leg, into the knee and the thigh, and then into the pelvis. Great. And then releasing that. Lovely. And we'll do the same with the other foot, the other leg. So shifting that weight, your weight into the leg we've just shaken, keeping that leg nice and long. So like lifting up from the floor so you can hold on to something if you need to. Shaking into the foot, releasing all those bones. Allowing breath and yawns to come in. Means something shifting in the chest area and the lungs into the ankle and lower leg. Into the knee and the thigh. Great. Lovely. And then stepping that out is just take a walk on the step, on the spot. Stepping on the spot. Releasing the arms, allowing the feet just to pad through. So toes to heels. Great. Allowing breath to come in. Great. And then we'll come to just standing. Lovely. And before we do the circles and spirals within our body, I'd like to share with you a Qigong practice. It's called Gathering the Sun. So perhaps to warm up the body some more and give it some energy. But what we want to do as a practical thing is make sure, so I'll just turn sideways. So when we gather in the movement of the sun, what we want to make sure is that the arms aren't higher than the chest. So if you've never done this before, it's better that the hands come in lower than higher. So we don't want to give ourselves a rush of energy up into the upper chest and the head. We're gathering this warm sun energy into our bodies and then bringing it downwards so that we can feel warmth and more energized from our lower bellies, that lovely place below the navel called the dantian in Chinese. So a lot of practices like Qigong, Tai Chi, and in Japan they have Shibashi, but they all use their center, this place here, dantian. So to begin, we will have our feet nice and spread on the floor and the ankles soft, knees soft. You can rearrange the pelvis on the top of the legs. See where feels comfortable for you today. Okay. And I'll just turn sideways again so you can see. So the feet are nice and spread. And we want to make sure that the weight's not too far forward on the feet or too far back. So if we just gently rock forward and back. Great. So spreading the feet on the floor and then allowing the weight to just center down. So it's as though we're just dangling downwards towards the ground. There's no effort to stand here. And then I'm just going to gently soften the knees and allow little softening in the front of the pelvis, and the balls of my feet are spreading into the ground, kind of like rooting down like a tree, and making sure that our tailbone isn't tucked or sticking out, allowing gravity to release the pelvis to the ground. Lovely. So the movement comes up with the hands, palms kind of face sideways. So we're gathering and imagining that there's the sun in front of us. And then we're going to take that energy of the sun and gather it in. The hands come closer. And then when they get close to the chest, turning the elbows and the hands so the fingers face up. And then we draw the energy downwards, down towards the belly, the dantian. So my navel's here, dantian's here. So I'm not touching the body, it's off the body, and sending this lovely feeling of warmth from the sun to the belly. So we'll do this a couple of times. Let's do it 6 times together. So I'll face a little off sideways so now you can see. So I'm going to keep the knees just gently soft at the front, and the ankles are soft and the feet are relaxed and toes are relaxed. So the pelvis can just balance on the top of the legs. Great. And the spine is nice and long and easy. So we're going to breathe in, gather the sunshine, that wonderful sunshine. And you can breathe out, bringing that sunshine in. The hands face upwards, so we're off the body. Breathing in and then drawing that wonderful warmth of the sun, that golden light down into the lower belly, into your center. So breathing in, gathering that wonderful warm light of the sun. Breathing out, drawing that in, hands face upwards, breathing in here. Breathing out, drawing that energy down through the body, just imagining it. Imagine that warm sunshine, that nourishing sunshine, giving you energy down into your lower belly. So let's do 4 more, breathing in, gathering that warm sunshine and drawing it in, breathing out, allowing the arms to drop and the fingers to come up, top of the chest, breathing in, and then drawing that energy downwards, lovely golden light, warmth, some vitamins, all into your lower belly. 3 more times, breathing in, gathering those arms wide and round the sun, breathing out as you draw the hands in, breathing in again. As you breathe out, drawing that breath downwards into the lower belly. Twice more, breathing in, gathering the sunshine, gathering it in as you breathe out. Breathing in at the upper chest, breathing out and drawing that energy all the way down. We're washing our bodies with this amazing light and energy. Once more, breathing in, gathering that sunshine, warmth, nourishing vitamins as you breathe out. Then breathing in again. As you breathe out, sending that energy all the way down. And then to close this practice of gathering the sun, allow the hands to be placed on your dantian. So it doesn't matter which way around the hands go. And we're just going to do small circles. So I'm going right side of my body and then up and then down on the left. This is the way the digestive system works. So we'll start the circle small, spiraling gently outwards to fill the whole belly area, right hip, up to the ribs and across to the left. So if you've just had breakfast, this is really going to help your digestion of your breakfast or your dinner if you're watching this video later. And then again, we're just going to gently bring this circle's smaller spiraling down, back smaller to just below the navel. That's our dantian, circling that energy through the belly. All the way down into the hara, into your belly and your dantian, your powerhouse, your center, where your belly fire lives. Lovely. And then we'll shake that out. So let's come back to the feet. So let's shift our weight onto one foot, pouring that weight onto one foot. And you can do this a couple of times. Maybe just allowing the smooth flow, the fluid in the body to just tip into one leg. And then we'll do circles with the ball of the foot. So just allowing the foot to wake up and open. This one has a nice clicking sound with it today, so don't know what's going on with this foot today. Clearly not quite awake. And then change direction. Lovely. And then we're just going to tuck the toes under gently. I'm softening the leg that I'm standing on. And then step that back into a lunge, allowing the back of the leg all the way up through into the pelvis to open and stretch out. And again, allowing the toes to tuck under, or just lifting the heel up if that's too uncomfortable on the foot, and then stepping back into a lunge, doesn't have to be huge, allowing the back of the leg to open. Lovely. And then we'll swap feet. So pouring the weight over. So take a few moments to pour the weight fully into that standing leg we've just worked. Great. And then circling this foot on the floor, allowing space and movement into the feet where the toes are attached. Having a natural breath and changing direction. Perhaps one foot's easier than the other. Perhaps they both feel great. Lovely. And then gently tucking the toes under. Or you can allow the heel to just lift up off the floor. We just want to create some space in the front of the ankle. And then gently stepping that back into a lunge, allowing the back of the leg to open from the little toe, the heel, all the way up to the back of the pelvis. Lovely. And again, gently tucking the toes under. And then opening by stepping the foot back into a lunge, opening the back of the leg up. Lovely. And then just shaking the legs out. That's great. And bringing the feet in closer if that feels comfortable. They don't have to touch, but they can if you wish to. And then if it's too much to reach the knees with the palms of the hands, you can just gently soften the knees and take hold of the pelvis or the waist at the top and just do very subtle movements with the knees. If you're comfortable too, you can place your hands on the kneecaps, soften the knees, make sure that the shoulders are nice and soft down the back so they're not up around the ears. We want to make space for the neck and the shoulders at the front and circling the knees. This is sending that lovely fluid around the body that I spoke about in that book, The Original Body. It's our natural WD-40 synovial fluid going in the ankles, the knees, into the lower back and the spine, and change direction. So these can be quite small circles, they don't have to be huge. Or if you feel like they need some sort of real shaking up today, you can give them a nice juicy circle. Lovely. And then to undo that, we want to soften the knees and uncurl. So we want the pelvis to come under first and uncurl so the head's the last to come up. And then release the legs again. We'll take a wider stance, and the feet don't have to be parallel. You can let them turn out just gently. We're going to keep the legs nice and long, so the kneecaps are still released. We're not gripping or locking the knees. We're allowing the kneecaps to release. Same thing with the pelvis as when we first started. We want to make sure that we're not too far forward or too far back, somewhere in the middle, so we can allow gravity to drop down. If you want to test that, if you just bounce through the knees, just allowing the pelvis to drop towards the ground. So if we're too far forward, that's quite tricky. You can feel it in the thighs. And if you're too far back, actually you can also feel it in the thighs. So the easier it is, then you'll know that you're dropping the weight straight down to the ground using gravity. Lovely. So release that bounce. So I have my feet slightly turned out. They're not totally parallel, keeping the legs nice and long, but the kneecaps released. And the feet are spreading in the ground. I'm just going to gently take the pelvis into some circles. Really quite subtle ones today. Allowing that fluid in the body to be moved to the deepest parts of the joints. I always find that the subtle movements, the smaller movements, perhaps don't look so impressive in our society, but actually, or in like moves or dancing or doing yoga or anything like that, I actually find that they do a lot more in the body, and that you can have a better health and well-being from the subtler movements. So I'll turn this way again. So just gently pouring the weight round the pelvis. Also, by being a bit more subtle and perhaps slower, you can really feel what's going on in your body. Just gently pouring the pelvis round, imagining that there's like fluid running through the deep parts of the ball and socket joint. And there's all these ligaments and muscles going through the pelvis, and then the organs. We really want to allow them to release. They work really hard for us, even when we're sitting. And then change direction, but really gently. There's no rush to change direction. Spiraling outwards. Just allowing also the lumbar spine to go for the ride with the pelvis. So it's joining in, but the movement is almost as though it's coming from the tailbone. We're making circles with our tailbone downwards like a corkscrew. Lovely. We'll just gently make those circles smaller into a spiral. Gently taking that round and round and round until it's small, really tiny circles. Until that movement can settle and we can release the arms if you had them on the pelvis. So we can keep the feet where they are. If you want to bring them in again a bit into more parallel, you can. But from here, we're just going to soften the knees and allow the shoulders and the head to drop forward. Then on an in-breath, we're going to draw the shoulders up, and as we breathe out, letting them drop. But we can really allow the spine to move with us if that's comfortable. If not, just allow the head and the shoulders to come forward. It doesn't have to be huge. So we're going to breathe in, breathing out. As we breathe in, draw the shoulders up breathing out. Lovely. Breathing in, dropping forward. Breathing in and drawing everything up. Breathing out, undoing the shoulders. Breathing in, head and shoulder drop, softening the knees. Last one. Breathing out, releasing the shoulders. Lovely. So just going to walk the feet into parallel. And from here, just going to gently lift so we're just going to lift the elbows up. So imagining that they just have strings on their elbows. Just going to lift them up and allow them to do circles outwards. So they drop down and the hands can lift up. So the movement's coming from the elbows. I'm keeping my feet soft and relaxed in the ground. My knees are long but not gripping. And I'm just allowing this movement to open the front of the belly and the ribs. It's nice and soft. And we can now allow a little ripple through the rest of the body. Having a natural breath, but really allowing the elbows to draw kind of up and sideways, so the hands kind of meet in the middle. Lovely. The pelvis can rock forward and backwards. Great, and we're opening the space underneath the armpits and the side of the ribs, as well as the front of the body. Lovely. And then releasing that there. Great. So we're just going to take a few lifting up, kind of like the beginning of a sun salutation. But we're just gently going to lift the arms up and gently lift so we can open the front of the body, and then we'll mount forward. So if you need a chair, I can demonstrate that in a little while. So to begin, we're just going to do a very small sequence just to allow the spine to soften and the front of the body to open up a little bit more. So the feet are nice and spread in the ground. The pelvis can relax, and I just have a slight bend in the knees and the front of the pelvis. So I'm not holding the pelvis, just allowing it to soften at the front. And the spine can be nice and long, growing up towards the sky on the top of the pelvis. Great. So from here, I'm going to bring the hands into prayer position, breathing in. As I breathe out, I'm softening the knees, and then I'm going to spiral the hands, like we did last week, all the way up to above my head, so they're in parallel above my, like this, head. If that's uncomfortable, just bring them to where's comfortable in the shoulders, and you can soften the elbows. So if the arms are long and it's too much in the shoulder, soften the elbows and bring the arms a bit lower. So spiral them up to wherever's comfortable. Then from here, just going to drop downwards, and if this is okay on your lower back, just going to soften the knees, and as we breathe out, just allowing the front of the body to look up towards the ceiling in your hands. But we really want to make sure that this doesn't collapse here in the lower spine. So as you soften the knees, it's as though the back is holding and supporting the front of the body, allowing us to just gently open the front of the body, back extension, and looking up towards the sky. Taking a breath in, and as we breathe out, we can soften the knees, come up to standing, and then we're going to soften again and ripple forward to wherever's comfortable, and keeping the knees soft and the head and neck relaxed. And taking a breath, and then as we breathe out, softening the knees, you can spiral the hands to come up, and then in prayer position at the top, we'll draw them down again. So it's just a very small sequence. So we're opening the front and then closing the front and opening the back. So allowing this movement to flow from the front and the back of the body. So I'll just demonstrate that for people who want to use the chair, or particularly if you have any lower back problems. So I've placed it in front of me, and all we'll do at the beginning, same thing. So we'll have soft knees. We'll breathe into prayer position, and then breathing out, spiraling the hands up in whatever manner feels comfortable for you. Same thing. If it's too much on the shoulders and neck, lowering the arms to wherever's comfortable and softening the elbows if that's also too much on the shoulders. So from here, if you have your elbows soft and arms a bit lower, just want to soften the knees and gently look toward your hands. If it's okay on your lower back, if you lift from the belly button, lift up and look towards the ceiling. So we want this nice and long, so we're not collapsing in the back of our bodies, nice and long here. And then breathing out, we want to soften the knees, lengthen them so we can lift the spine back up. Okay, and then we'll soften again, coming forward, placing the hands on the chair. We can keep the knees soft if that's good for you. If you want, you can drop down onto your elbows, but making sure your head and neck are nice and relaxed. And then again, sending the weight back to the feet, and we're going to come back up to standing, spiraling the hands in prayer position at the top and drawing that down. If any of this is too much on your lower back, to do a back extension. If the arms are placed up, just soften the knees and look forward. Stay looking forward. This is still activating the front of the body, even without looking up towards the ceiling. So modify what you need to do. Well, actually, the word modification I always kind of find funny because I don't think that the first phrase is the only one, and that actually all the modifications of that, they're not modifications of that one. I feel that each movement, however you feel you need to move today, is exactly what you need to do. So perhaps I will stop calling them modifications. Anyway, feel free to move how you need to and rest if you need to, but you all know your bodies quite well now, and knowing what feels comfortable or not. So as long as we breathe and listen to our bodies and feel fluid and soft, that's great. Anytime there's something going on and you're not sure, you can just rest or take it down a few levels. We don't need to go too crazy. So we're going to breathe in, hands in prayer position. So we breathe out, soften the knees and spiral in any manner, spiraling the arms all the way up to the sky. And we're going to soften the knees, breathing in and then breathing out, looking up towards the sky if that's comfortable for you. Breathing in here. So we breathe out, softening the knees and bring the pelvis underneath so we're back up to standing. And then breathing out, we're going to cascade forward, allowing the body, front of the body to soften over the legs, onto a chair or the floor with the hands, or you can also hold onto your legs here. Taking a breath in. As we breathe out, sending the weight back into the feet, spiraling the hands up as we uncurl, making sure the head's the last thing. Hands in prayer position at the top, and then drawing the hands all the way down again. So let's just do that a few times more. So breathing in, breathing out, softening the knees and spiraling up. You can spiral the rest of your body if you wish to as well. Breathing in, breathing out, softening the knees and allowing your face to look up towards the sky. Breathing in. As you breathe out, soften the knees and draw the pelvis and the spine back up to standing. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, rippling forward, allowing everything to soften forward wherever you're at there. Keeping the knees soft and the feet spread in the ground and the head and neck released. On the next out breath, press more weight into the feet and uncurl. You can spiral the hands up towards the sky, hands in prayer position and drawing the hands down. Lovely. Let's do that twice more. So breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in here, breathing out, softening everything and looking up towards the sky if that's comfortable for you. activating the front of the body, breathing out again to calm back up. Breathing in at the top here, and breathing out, we're softening forward. Breathing in, breathing out, softening the knees and curling the arms all the way up towards the sky into prayer position, and then drawing the hands all the way back down. Let's do that once more. Breathing in, allowing the shoulders to be nice and relaxed as well. Breathing out, we want the hands to spiral up. You can spiral the rest of your body, but the feet are still soft in the ground. Softening the knees, and on an out breath, we want to look up towards the sky if that's comfortable for us. Lovely. Breathing in and then breathing out, softening the knees and the pelvis kind of undoes the spine. Breathing in here again, breathing out, we're just softening forward, allowing the front of the body to relax, the face and the head and neck. On the next out breath, press more weight into the feet, spiraling the arms upwards. Hands in prayer position and drawing them down to the chest. Lovely. Allowing the breath to drop into that belly area, the dantian that we warmed up with the sun energy, gathering the sun. Lovely, and releasing. Great. So from here, if you're still feeling good to stay standing, I thought we could do the earth salutation. So hopefully, let me just move the camera a bit so you can see my arms. Great. So, that's a bit better. So the earth salutation, we have done it a couple of times before. So if you're happy to do this with me, any time you need to rest, feel free to. We're just going to really gently open the arms and the front of the body up here and release the fingers. You don't have to interlace your fingers really hard. You can hold them quite gently rather than like this. And keeping the elbows soft the whole time, so we don't need to lock the elbows. Keeping them nice and soft, so it's easy in the shoulders as well. So we'll start feet fairly close together. If you're happy with them touching, that's great. And we really want to root the feet down, so spreading the toes and allowing them to rest and relax on the ground, so it can spread deep down. So the earth salutation does right side and left side. So I'll talk us through it once on the right side fairly slowly. If you need to add some more breaths in because I'm talking too much and not moving so quick, feel free to breathe as much as you need to. We don't need to hold breath or anything. And then I'll show the left and the right and the left once more a little quicker. So we bring the hands in prayer position as we breathe in, interlace the fingers, soften the knees, so we're just allowing the pelvis to drop straight down, and then bring the hands forward as we straighten the legs and undo the hands at the top. So that's the first one, and that's the neutral one that we end on and start with. Again, hands in prayer position as we breathe in. As we breathe out this time, I'm going to release the right foot. So I'm pouring my weight into the left and then pressing that down. My toes are still facing forward in parallel, softening the knees and then drawing the hands up. Lovely. This time we're just going to do a curved spine. So as we release the right foot, we've done a plain squat down. So the third time, hands together as we breathe in. As we breathe out, we can curl the spine, head and shoulders. So if this is quite a lot of strain on the lower back, even just staying here and allowing the head to drop forward. If you wish to go further, you can soften the knees and curl the back more. Press to come up and release. Lovely. So that's the third. Fourth one is hands together in prayer position. Interlace the fingers and I'm going to pivot on my right heel. So I'm going towards the right, pressing towards the right as the right knee floats forward. So breathe in, I'm just bringing the arms up and the knee stays soft. Then as I breathe out, I'm pressing the foot to push me back and undoing the fingers. And then we finish with a neutral one, but I'd like to just add a tiny little bit if it's comfortable on your lower back. If not, just do a neutral one. So it's hands in prayer position, soften the knees, and as we lift the arms up, I'm going to keep my knees soft and gently look up towards the sky and then undo that. Lovely. So we're encouraging the front to open and have a small back extension. I'll just show it sideways. So the last neutral one, if this is comfortable for you, softening the knees, keeping them soft there, and just allowing, it's like you're following your gaze, but I'm allowing my shoulders to drop down still, and just gently looking up towards the ceiling, and then undoing that there. And then we start the left side. So feet together if that's comfortable. Hands in prayer position. Breathing in, breathing out. Just a neutral one. Up, allowing the elbows to release. Lovely. Hands in prayer position. Pull the weight into your right foot so the left one can release. Squat straight down. That's great. Breathing in. Curling forward, softening forward, and bringing yourself back up and undoing. Lovely. Hands in prayer position. This time pivoting on the left heel, pressing towards the left, softening in the left knee and the right leg still nice and long. Hands up towards the sky, and as you breathe out, push off with that foot and undo the hands. Last neutral one on the left side. Staying with the knees soft if that's comfortable for you to look up towards the sky and undoing that. Lovely. Let's do once more in each side. I'll go a little bit swifter, so hopefully you can keep moving on your own breath. Breathing in, breathing out, a neutral one. Soft in the hands and the elbows, breathing in. This time pouring the weight to the left, releasing the right foot, softening and squatting down and undoing the hands. Prayer position, soft and curling forward wherever's comfortable for you today and undoing. This time with hands in prayer position, I'm going to pivot on the right foot and press towards the right. Arms lift, and as you breathe out, we're going to press back to come into our standing mountain pose. Breathing in, breathing out, softening the knees, keeping them soft if you want to gently look up towards the sky, shoulders nice and released, and undo. Lovely. Left side, breathing in, breathing out, softening the arms. Lovely. And undo. Breathing in, pouring the weight into the right foot so the left one can release, squatting down and undoing. Lovely. This time, hands in prayer position, we're going to curl forward, softening the front. Lovely. And undoing the back. This time we're going to pivot on the left heel, pressing forward into that lovely juicy knee bend. Arms lifting up, and on an out breath, pushing off to come back to standing. Once more to close, a neutral one. Stay with the knees soft if you'd like to look up towards the ceiling. Lovely. And undoing that. And then hands in prayer position. Making sure the feet are nice and spread in the ground and the pelvis can just gently be rearranging itself on the top. It's kind of like balanced on the top of your legs. And the spine can grow up towards the sky. Lovely. And then releasing that. So come to sitting. So you can sit on a chair or the edge of a bed. I'm going to use a chair here. So getting comfortable. Great. And so I'm going to make sure I sit on the edge of the chair. so that my lower legs from the ankles come straight up from the ground. So if my feet are too close, you'll see the bend in the knee as a different angle, and the same with them further away. So we really want to make sure that the lower legs come straight up out the ground to meet the knees, and that the pelvis is nice and comfortable on the chair, just as though we would be standing. So let's allow the pelvis to just dip back. So we're going to sit more on the glutes, and everything on the front can collapse. And then rocking forward, overextending in the pelvis so we can open the chest at the front. And the same again. Just doing a couple of rocks. And then we can gently in the pelvis, slowly make them smaller. Until you feel comfortable in the center. It's like your neutral pelvis sitting on the sitting bones or the tuberosities of Isham, and allowing gravity to help the pelvis just drop into the chair or the edge of the bed or wherever you're able to sit. Great. Having the feet spread in the ground. So just going to do similar thing with the elbows that we did standing earlier. So just having a natural breath, and we're going to draw the elbows up so the hands can relax. The elbows do circles and then the hands just follow. So we're really allowing the spine to grow up towards the sky, and the head and neck are still relaxed as the elbows open the front and sides of the ribs. Also allowing the back of the ribs and shoulder blades to release. Lovely. Drawing them up. We're creating space in the armpits as well. Lovely. And then releasing that so you can relax the hands onto the thighs. So from here, we're just going to curl forward with the hands sliding down the thighs. We've done it before. And then we'll take a little reach and lean back if that's comfortable for you. So I'll demonstrate first, and then we'll go a few times together. So we're going to breathe in. As we breathe out, we're just going to gently let the head, the chin tuck towards the chest, and the hands sliding down, resting on the forearms, and allowing the head and the neck and the face to just relax towards the ground. Lovely. If you feel you need support to come up, walk your hands up your thighs like so to uncurl. Great. And then we'll use this elbow movement, elbows lifting up, hands just following. And then you can place your hands on your kidney area or like the back of the bottom of your ribs. And from here, we're just going to gently lean into our hands and then undoing that and placing them back on the thighs. It's just a small, gentle wave, cooling down this wave and movement that we've done already standing. So as we breathe out, we're allowing everything to soften forward. Breathing in here. And then as we breathe out, if you don't want to use your hands to walk you up, you can use your body to uncurl and allow the elbows to lift up pretty much straight away, allowing them to drop back, placing them on the kidney area at the back and gently looking up towards the ceiling. If it's too much to look up towards the ceiling, just place the hands on the lower ribs, the kidney area and your waist, and then release them forward. Really don't have to go that far at all. Even allowing the hands to take your weight rather than the forearms. So you're walking your hands up your legs or drawing your body back, uncurling, then the elbows lift up and undo and then placing the hands on the kidney area and staying upright, gently looking up towards the sky. Lovely, and then undoing that. One more, breathing out, allowing everything to fold forward and relax. Walking your hands up your thighs or uncurling the spine by drawing the belly button back. Elbows lifting and the hands just follow. Placing the hands on the kidney area at the back. Gently looking up towards the sky if that's comfortable. And undoing this. Lovely. So from here, just going to gently come to the floor, but if it's comfortable for you, we'll come to all fours. Get props and things, so if you need cushions and bolsters and things like that, so you could put cushions under your knees or lie on a nice rug, that's also great as well. If it's too uncomfortable for you on all fours on the ground, you can use a chair as well, standing. So get what you need to do. Take your time to get to the floor or turn around to face a chair. So what we'll do, I'll just demonstrate as we're going to have a play with this thing called lion's breath. And it basically stokes up the fires in your belly and it helps your digestion. So if you've just eaten, this is the moment where if you're feeling a bit full, perhaps wait a little while, like half an hour or an hour. It will help with digestion, but probably best before eating to do this. So if you need a chair, we can do this standing. So what we'll need to do is come to a nice distance from the chair, not too far away, not too close. Feet nice and soft in the ground, softening the knees and the ankles, and placing the weight onto the hands on the chair. And basically we want to keep the shoulders nice and open at the front, so there's no collapsing in the spine or anything like that, because we want to stoke up the fires within the belly. And then as we breathe out, we can lean the weight forward. So we're just sliding the weight through the shoulders at the front. Okay, so that's the movement that we're going to go for if you're on a chair and not on all fours on the floor. Okay, and then to undo that, softening the knees and uncurl to come back up to standing. Anytime you need to rest with this, please feel free to. It's called the lion's breath. Its Sanskrit name is Simhasana. Kind of reminds me of Simba in the Lion King, lion's pose. So if we're on the floor, what we want to do is come to all fours, but we can also cross the ankles over if that's comfortable for you. So crossing the ankles over. If that's not comfortable for you, that's totally fine, and we can stay in our parallel all fours. So let's just pad the hands into the floor or the chair, wherever you are, to release the wrists. Lovely. And if you feel you'd like to cross the ankles, you can. It doesn't matter which way around. And I'm allowing the knees to open a little, so they're not in parallel anymore. So if you want to stay in parallel, that's great. If you need a bit of something under the wrists, you can take a cushion or a bolster to come up a little. So it's the same movement I've just shown for people who are using a chair. We're going to rock forward gently, keeping the shoulders nice and wide at the front, so we're not dropping or collapsing anywhere. And we're firing from the belly. That's what this movement is. So lion's breath. We'll start with 3 breaths to begin. I'm going to stay on the bolster, actually. It feels quite nice. So basically, we're going to fill the belly, and then on an out breath, we can allow this movement to push us forward And we extend the tongue as we breathe out. This stokes the belly fire. So we want to breathe in here. I'll demonstrate once and then we'll do it 3 times together. So we're going to breathe in deeply into the lower belly and breathe out. Allow the breath to really be pressed forward. So we're emptying the belly and the lower belly and the abdominals and the lower lungs of all the breath. And then we breathe in again. So let's go 3 times all together. Anytime you get dizzy, feel free to sit and rest or lie down. So breathing in really deep into the lower belly. Extending the tongue releases the jaw and the neck muscles at the front. Breathing into the lower belly. Once more, breathing in. Breathing out. And taking a natural breath here so we can release. You can come back to sitting if that's okay for you. So if you wish to, we can do another round of 3 if that's comfortable. So it releases all the muscles down the side of the neck and into the face, and it softens the front of the body, all that movement that we've done already, and it stokes our digestive fires. If you have any acid reflux, I would try this just a couple of times to begin, because that means in Chinese medicine that there's probably some fire or heat in your belly already, and it needs sending downwards because the movement of the stomach channel is to move downwards. So see how you feel with this. It should help, definitely, but you might feel it's uncomfortable to begin with. So if you just want to try one lying breath to begin, please do so. You don't have to jump in and do 6 to begin. So I'm going to do 3 more if you would like to join me or take a rest. So breathing into the belly and letting it out. So from here, we just want to come to all fours, or if you're on a chair, you can keep your hands placed on the chair and you can soften your knees and keeping the feet spread in the ground. So from here, we're just going to do a couple of cat-cow to release the spine before we come to resting on the ground. So we're going to breathe in here. Breathing out, softening the head and the spine towards each other. Breathing in, opening the front of the body. Hopefully it feels nice and soft and easy to do this movement today. After all that lovely exercise of fluid movement and spirals in your body. So if the breath this way around doesn't feel right for you to breathe out as the head drops, feel free to change it so the breath's comfortable for you. So we really want to make sure that the arms are going straight down from the shoulders into the ground, and the same with the legs, that they're not too far away or not too close. We want them straight down into the ground. Curving the spine forward and back, gently, gently, with the breath, not forcing anything. And then making this one your last one. Lovely, coming back to neutral. And then if you feel comfortable to, if you're using a chair, you can just come to sitting. But if you'd like to, if you're on the floor, you can draw the pelvis back towards the heels and come to a child's pose. Actually, if you're sitting, you can allow your arms, your weight to drop onto your forearms like we did just a minute ago, dropping forward and allowing the front of the body to relax. So this has the same effect as a child's pose. So just doing whatever's comfortable for you, not forcing anything, really surrendering to gravity so we can have more spaces open within the body. So when you feel ready, gently making your way onto the ground, lying on the back, on your backs, and you can have your legs extended or feet on the ground and knees up towards the sky. Or if you need to, perhaps lying on a bed or a flat surface that's not the floor, do what you need to. And we're going to come to our relaxing Shavasana pose to really release everything and allow the front of the body to open a little bit more and the back to soften into the ground. So taking your time. So if you want to get really cozy, have a blanket. So you can have a bolster under the knees if that's comfortable for you. Or really allow the spine to relax on the floor or the bed, wherever you are. And allow the shoulders to relax. Maybe you need to rearrange the pelvis a little. Rocking the head from side to side. Allowing the neck and the face to relax after those wonderful lion's breaths. And you can have your hands on your belly and the elbows relaxed, or your hands by your side resting on the ground. And that's all we're going to do, is rest on the ground. And with each out breath, we're just allowing gravity to take our bodies, to release into the ground, into the earth that supports us a lot of the time, all of the time. Letting your breath be natural, maybe just noticing where that is in your body. Anytime you need to move or rearrange yourself, feel free to. I don't know if you heard, but my belly just made some peculiar noises. It's kind of like the peristalsis. So if you have that, especially after the lion's breath, that's absolutely normal. You don't need to worry. It means that the digestive system is having a rearrange and it's had some nice energy sent to it, and perhaps things are releasing. So don't worry if there's some peculiar gurgling noises. Or perhaps you're just hungry. So really surrendering to the earth. Letting go of the things that you don't need. Letting go of the exhale. letting go of any thoughts passing you by in your mind. Letting go of any sore or painful areas in your body. Letting that go. So as you're lying here, just like to read this very small, short poem. You can let the words wash over you, or you can take them in however you wish to. So staying exactly where you are if you're very, very comfortable. It's a very old poem from a guy called Hafiz. He was a Sufi, but his words and poetry I always find very beautiful. It felt love. How did the rose ever open its heart and give to this world all its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. So just allowing those words to sink in or to float over you. Perhaps I imagine that we are like the rose and opening our hearts and showing all this beauty to the world because of the light and the love that we receive from others and the sun. So we're not too frightened. So if you want to stay resting there on the ground, please feel free to. I'm just going to come up to sitting, making your way up to sitting. Only if you feel you'd like to. We're just going to close here. And if you wish to do a meditation, there's plenty on the website below this video. So there's a candle meditation with silence, there's one with sound, there's the chakra meditation with the sounds with it that you can make, and also a heart and heart protector self shiatsu and visualization if you'd like to do that too. So feel free to use the videos on the website for what you need for today and what feels right. But for now, I'll just gather the arms up into prayer position, drawing them down, and I'll say thank you very much, Namaste, for coming. Stay well.